Good afternoon, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great afternoon. It is Monday afternoon. It's also a coffee afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a couple of days. I apologize for that work thing again. Love you guys. Thank you so much for all your love and support as I push to 1,000 subs. Before I get into what I'm going to show you, though, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection. It's because of you guys, your likes, your subscriptions, your wonderful, wonderful comments that keep me going, keep me motivated to do this kind of thing, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So today, I'm going to be reviewing this amazing latest release from one of my favorite bands. I've got so many favorites. But Rock Believer by the Scorpions. This is the enhanced CD version with 11 tracks plus 5 bonus tracks on it. I'm going to make a stance now that as much as I love the Tears for Fears album, this one may just knock it out of top notch. I'm going to say top 3 so far in my collection as far as new releases of 2022. It's amazing, amazing stuff. It's their 19th studio album, released February 25th, 2022. So I'm kind of late in the game as far as reviewing it, but I'm just getting it to it now with everything else I've been listening to and everything else that I've picked up. And I wanted to give it a good solid listen for a couple of weeks, and I have. It's just the more I hear it, the more I love it. I guess I'll start with the CD itself. So again, it's got a cool woman's face on there with a scorpion on her tongue, which kind of reminds me of the Blackout cover, right, with his forked eyes, but that same screaming. They're always known for their cool covers, some controversial covers, but and it's a double album. On the vinyl version, this would be the back cover of the vinyl, and I was watching a reviewer, and his vinyl version came with a turntable pad, which is cool. But you've got the inside, Rock Believer. You've got discs 1 and 2 in here. This digipatch isn't necessarily the easiest thing to get out. So there's disc 1. And disc 2. And you've got the booklet that comes with it as well. Everyone with their thumbs up. Klaus Meine, amazing. Sounds for a 74-year-old guy, sounds remarkable. Sounds remarkable. Sounds like he hasn't aged a day in his vocal range. He meant how to have the high screaming vocals of the past, but he can still hit those notes. So you've got, again, Klaus Meine, vocals and backing vocals. Rudolf Schenker, amazing guitarist and backing vocals. You got Matthias Jobs, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, acoustic guitar, and slide guitar. What a clean sound that this guy has. Forgive me for pronouncing this bassist name, but he's remarkable. Powell Makiwata, just remarkable stuff. And Mickey D from Motorhead. What an Amazing, amazing drummer to round it all off. So that's the booklet that comes with it. Um, Again, 11 tracks on here with 5 bonus tracks, making it 16 in total, obviously, if my math is correct. Yeah, so again, my favorite era is, the Blackout, the Love at First Sting era, um, and Love Drive era. All great albums. In Trance, a little different album for sure. Their debut album is definitely completely different than anything that they put out, but still amazing, amazing album. And the band in this album here keeps the formula that worked for them. Sorry, it's Scorpions when the minute you hear it. So there's nothing that's going to surprise you on this one. But that sameness makes the album great, if that makes any sense, because you get what you expect. But the fact that the songs sound fresh, they're clean, the lyrics are amazing. Yes, there are 16 tracks, but it doesn't feel like it's a long album. You don't tire of it. Some tracks are better than others, obviously. Some maybe you could take a couple off because they're just straight ahead rock songs. But for the most part, amazing stuff. And you got these guys in their 70s, late 60s, still kicking butt. It's basically a triumphant return to the past, if you look at it that way. And if they go out on a bang with this album, they did it right. They did it right. You got the guitar tones, you got the production, the songwriting. Again, just 3 combinations that just work so well. Again, the classic album artwork. 50 years that these guys have been putting this stuff out. Now, these guys have been around since '65. Hard to believe as well. But Lonesome Crow came out, I believe, in '72. So 50 years since they started releasing albums. Klaus Meine and Rudolf Schenker are pretty much the only remaining members of the classic lineup. But Matthias Jobs has been on board since Love Drive. And he's pretty much made their sound, as far as I'm concerned. And then you've got Powell Majiwada, who he's an amazing bassist. You can hear the bass throughout this. That's what I love about it. They brought the bass up front and just made it remarkable. And on a couple of tracks, that's what's featured at the beginning of the track is bass. And then Mickey D of Motorhead is just killer rhythm section. And again, Klaus Meine, he can belt it out still to this day. And perhaps the music's toned down a little bit to suit his voice, but they did the same with Ian Gillan, with Whoosh, Deep Purple's latest album. A lot of these bands that come out with newer albums, older bands, you have to adjust. They may not reach the same heights as they did back in the '70s, but hey, I'm not complaining about the vocal range of Klaus Meine on this one. Again, lots of songs that remind you of old Scorpions. Roots in My Boots, Knock 'Em Dead, Hot and Cold, and Peacemaker are so good. There's great solid tracks on this one, and they'd fit into any of the older albums with no problem. Then you got Shining of Your Soul and Seventh Son, kind of a darker couple of tracks. Seventh Son is definitely, he's got this almost Eastern sound to it, Eastern music sound to it, but with some heavy riffs as well. Again, nothing groundbreaking on this album. It's the formula is there. They didn't break the formula. They didn't go outside the boundaries, but you kind of expect that with the Scorpions album. And they seem to know what works for them, and they used it, and they did it right. Rock Believer, again, a cool concert type of track. I can see the crowd just rocking it out, and the Scorpions in that track, I feel, pay homage to their fans and their supporters. In all the, we're rock believers. We hope you are still too, type of thing, and just remarkable stuff. Sorry, I've got notes all over the place here because there's so much to write about on this one. It is a lot to take in. Yeah. Again, the kings of the riffs is the Scorpions for sure, and they don't deny any of that stuff. There's only really one ballad on here, which is the last track, on track 11, When You Know Where You Come From. And then they do a acoustic version of that as well on the 5th bonus track, When You Know Where You Come From. But it's not Winds of Change. It's kind of a lesser form of that. It's still a good track, but it's really the only ballad on the album. Everything else just rocks it out, which is cool. What else have I written down here? It was recorded in Hanover and co-produced with Hans Martin Bull, as well as the band. They didn't want to travel anywhere, and so they stayed in their, as Klaus Main said in a couple of interviews, it's nice to go do recording and then go home to your own bed, which is kind of refreshing. Didn't have to travel all over the place. Mickey D brings a refreshing drum style to the tracks, and he tones it down when he needs to, and he ramps it up when he needs to as well. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of my favorite albums of 2022. You've got, right off the bat, Gas in the Tank, big hard rocker. Right off the bat, and then you got Roots in My Boots, Knock 'Em Dead, Rock Believer, Shining of Your Soul, Seventh Son, Hot and Cold, When I Lay My Bones to Rest, which is a cool track as well. They're all cool tracks. Peacemaker, another single that they put out, a little heavier than Rock Believer. Call of the Wild, and then the ballad, When You Know Where You Come From. Then you've got 5 bonus tracks, Shoot for Your Heart, When Tomorrow Comes, Unleash the Beast, Crossing Borders, and again the acoustic version of When You Know Where You Come From. One of my favorites of 2022. I would give it a solid 8.5 or 9 out of 10. I can't say it's perfect because there's a couple of tracks that I could do without because they're just straight ahead rock ballads. There's nothing gonna surprise you, but you take those away, and bam, it's an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 on this amazing album. So there you have it, guys. There's a little review of this wonderful album by the Scorpions, Rock Believer. Check it out. I can put a Spotify playlist below to help you listen. I've listened to nothing else for the last few days, And every time I hear it, I just fall in love with it all over again. So take care, guys. Love you all. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.